Hello, class 4. Welcome back to your English class. Today we are going to learn Unit 1 supplementary lesson. The lesson name The Mistaken Plate. Let us read the lesson. The Mistaken Plate. Once upon a time, there lived a merchant who sold things made of brass and tin. He used to travel across the rivers and mountains to sell. He usually traveled with another merchant, who also sold things made of brass and tin. They also used to buy things made of different metals to melt and use. The second merchant was always greedy as he tried to pay as less as possible. One day, when they went to a town, they divided the streets of the town. They did not want to disturb each other while selling. They moved through the streets they had chosen and called utensils made of brass and tin for sale. Utensils made of brass and tin for sale. Let me explain this paragraph. Once upon a time, there lived two merchants who sold things made of brass and tin. As they were moving from mountains and rivers and selling out and buying old things, they also distributed the streets of the town so that they will not have problem in selling the things or buying the things. In these two merchants, one was a good merchant, the second one was a greedy merchant. He always used to be greedy and so he tried to pay less money as possible. And they used to move from one place to another, selling and things buying. They also used to shout out utensils made of brass and tin for sale. Let us continue. In an old house, there also lived a woman and her granddaughter. They were once a wealthy family, but now lived in poverty. They only had one plate left as a memory of their wealth. The grandmother had kept the plate in memory of her husband. The greedy merchant passed this house, saying, utensils made of brass and tin for sale. The granddaughter heard him and said to grandmother, Ammamma, please buy something for me. Let me explain this paragraph. In an old house, there lived a woman and her granddaughter. They were once a very wealthy family. They had lot of money and they were very rich. But now they are living in poverty because they don't have any money now. They only had one plate which was left as a memory of their wealth. The grandmother had kept it so safe because she kept it in memory of her husband. So the greedy merchant passed this house and he was trying to sell things and buy. So he shouted out, saying, utensils made of brass and tin for sale. The granddaughter heard this and she ran to her grandmother, saying, Amama, please buy something for me, because she wanted something for herself. And so she asked her grandmother to buy. As the grandmother did not have any money, she was just thinking what to do. Let's continue reading. She replied, Kanna, we don't have any money to buy anything. We do not have anything to trade with. Granddaughter said, we have that one old plate that we don't use. Let's see what the merchant will offer for it. We can go and get something we can use, Grandma. Amama called the merchant and showed him the plate. She asked, will you take this plate and give any of your utensils? The man took the plate and scratched it with a needle. He found that it was a golden plate. He said, what is it worth? Not even 1 rupee. He threw the plate on the ground and walked away. Both the merchants completed their streets. They had decided that either of them would go to any house that the other did not sell in. The first merchant passed the same old house and called, utensils made of brass and tin for sale. Let me explain this paragraph. As the grandmother said, she told her granddaughter, Kanna, that we do not have anything to buy and we do not have any money also to trade with. But the granddaughter reminded her about the plate, one old plate which they had, and she said, Grandma, why don't we give that so that we can buy something and we can use it? Then the grandma thought about it and she took the plate and she gave to the merchant. This merchant was very greedy, and so what did he do? He said he scratched it and he found that it was a golden plate. And he said, this is not of a worth even a rupee, because he was so greedy he wanted to buy it for less amount. So he said it's not even worth for 1 rupee. Just he threw it and he walked away. But the merchants had already decided after completing their streets, they can go to either of the house they could to buy any house that the other did not sell. As they had already decided that the merchants can go to the place where the first merchant did not sell. So the first merchant tried to move to the same street and he came across the house where the grandmother and the granddaughter were there. And he also called out utensils made of brass and tin for sale. Looks interesting, isn't it, children? Okay, let us continue the second part, the next class. Thanks for watching. Happy learning, children.